Hello everyone, K Kim here. Today's August 8th, Monday. Market has been closed for about 40 minutes, and tonight on market update, we are going to on this market update, we're going to focus on Apple. I'll probably do another market update video sometime this week, and we'll look at the indices and all of our kind of a list that we've been talking about in the market update videos. But tonight we will only focus on Apple here. And if you've been following me on my blog at 2tradersclub.com and on Twitter and StockTwits at 2kkim, we've been talking a lot. I've been tweeting a lot about this vicinity, this resistance, this downtrend resistance, this prominent resistance. There are a lot of sellers up here, sellers here and here, right? Every time we hit that level, this thing tanked pretty hard, thus creating some kind of a downtrend, lower high and lower low price action, right? So that was a concerning signal. Obviously, when the stock is reacting this way, it is a cautionary signal for this overall look on the Apple. But I thought at this point, once we cultivated this pretty solid support at about 91.95, you can see that how price action started coming down, cultivating lower highs, but we really weren't cultivating lower lows. I would say that this is more like equal lows. We're just really cultivating. We're really respecting that support level, that horizontal support level at 91.95 and 90.11-ish, right? This is a band of support here. So this was a level that buyers came in, brought this thing back up, but there were pressure from up top and starting to bring it down. So there's a lot of war going on there, up and down and up and down. But I thought once we came down and we started forming this double bottom, I think that was a significant pattern for the buyers. And once we had an island reversal, right? Island reversal meaning we had gap down here and we had a gap up here, right? And this thing right here in this purple box is an island. You can call this a air pocket, you can call it a window, gap. There's not, just straight through. That's a textbook island reversal, right? So island reversal is probably one of the strongest reversal pattern looking at minor to intermediate term, right? So I remember, this was this is July 29th, about a week and a half ago or so. I tweeted out daily chart sentiment: if bulls break loose here, they will knock the bears out cold. And at that time, we were still bound by this resistance. This was a kind of just several days later after the earnings we had. Remember right there, you can see that I put gap open, meaning that that's an island reversal. And right here I talked about that there's an island reversal pattern. But we're still below that vicinity. We're still trading below this resistance level. So there's still a cautionary signal. But underneath the hood, I really thought that with this island reversal, there are a lot of momentum built, right? There's a lot of pressure was building from the buyers. And they're so anxious to just break out in this vicinity. So I thought if the buyers break loose here, and they're just gonna go, right? So that's what I was talking about here. And then next day, right? So this was August, after the weekend, August 1st there. Next day, we were breaking out. This was actually in the morning time. We're breaking out. You can see right here, we're breaking out, and island reversal is still in effect, still valid, right? Because if this came down and filled that gap, then that would be no longer an island reversal. For the fact that the gap was still open when it broke out, the island reversal remaining to be true. So once that broke out, the technical analysis outlook was the next move likely higher. And obviously, it's a probability thing. Nobody truly knows what happens, what's going to happen in the future. It's just a probability that will continue higher. But, this market is funny in that way because even after the breakout, right here, you see that? Like that, right? We broke out of this resistance. Let me just make this do that. Again, that was this day, right? This was the August 1st, breaking out. And this market always do a little shakeout before it makes another move, because that's what this market will never make it easy. Just same thing with the earnings day, right? This was earnings day. We gapped up high, and then we started seeing sellers coming in, and we saw that kind of a bearish, almost marbles, a type of candle there, and this shakes people out. Oh my god, I thought this thing was gonna just go through the roof, but market never make it easy for anybody. And then so what happens? So we give you a little the sign, and then kind of make everybody questioning, are we gonna come all the way and fill this gap? And there are also some kind of myths, some kind of theories where the gap should always be filled. No, that's not a right sentence, right phrase. That's not a right statement. Gap doesn't have to get filled all the time. Sometimes it gets filled right away, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it can be open for decade if you actually look at some of the gaps that happened like years ago. But anyway, so then we saw that bearish candle there just right on the resistance too. That's what kind of made it worse, is that so many people are looking at this downtrend resistance. So there are a lot of fear still going on. Hey, last several times, man, it hit this level, this thing tanked. So there's a lot of fear that this might tank again. So that was that fear, right? But because of the momentum, think about it last time. I mean, this was pretty crazy candle here. We started getting up and we got back up to this resistance, right? But this was kind of the start of that move. After this ugly sideways move, we finally just tanked, got back up, and then it was that kind of very shaky. And this was when the market was very, very shaky. You also remember that on the S&P 500 and over market. So many crazy people started coming out saying the market crash was going to happen in 2016. Anyway, so this was that prominent resistance level. Threw us that bearish candle, and the next day bulls came right back through a kind of a tweezer type of pattern there. This is not a tweezer top. It would have been tweezer top if this was green and this was red. Then it would have been a tweezer top, which then there's a good chance possibly it will drip lower. But this was red and this is green. This is what I would call tweezer continuation pattern. Meaning that since we've been going up and down and we got back up here, is a continuation to the upside pattern. And the next day through another doji. Just this market keeps on making you guess, right? And then boom, broke out. And then this is where so many buyers get, excited, right? This is where all these, even the sellers turn bullish at this point. Maybe people who lost money trying to short this, they get stopped out. They have to cover here, and then maybe start going long. And then what does the market do next day? Another bearish candle. Now it does look like a bearish tweezer top. However, if it does happen above the resistance, it is really no longer a tweezer top, right? And I'm sure like the bears are saying this is a bull trap. You don't know that it's a bull trap until this thing does something like this. You can't just say that that's a bull trap, because once we understand that all resistance can become a new support. That's a technical analysis 101, very, very basic of technical analysis. All resistance becomes new support. You can also look at this as a separating lines with candles. Separating lines meaning it's a continuation pattern. We've been going up here, higher, so it's a separating lines, right? These different colors of candles are just separating it before we continue higher. And then we threw this right there, and this was back in August 3rd, and I tweeted this out here. Daily chart possible bull pennant upon breakout. So we are forming bull pennant right there, right on this resistance. And remember we talked about the downtrend resistance, right? So we had that tweezer continuation, separating lines, all resistance, new support, and then we are doing that bull pennant pattern. So upon breakout, it will be confirmed. That's what I was saying, right? So going back to it, we had a bull pennant pattern above the support or pivot or previous resistance and downtrend resistance, and not to mention we're still seeing the buying pressure from this island reversal, right? And not to mention this was the underneath it, we were seeing a lot of these technical datas that are colliding with each other. Not really colliding, coinciding, because they're not against each other. All these technical data I'm sharing with you on this video, they're not colliding, they're condoning each other, endorsing each other, they're coinciding with each other. This is July 26, 2016. I wrote this article called 3 Reasons Why Apple Has Bottomed. And first, obviously, you can see that this is weekly 200 SMA back in 2009. This was the savior after that 2008 crash, and then it came up. Late 2012, crashed again. It was a weekly 200 SMA. There was a vicinity that was a level that a lot of buyers started coming in. Long-term dip buyers coming in and bringing this thing back up. And again, in 2016, we came back down to that level, weekly 200 SMA, simple moving average vicinity, and start flirting with that level again. Okay, so that was that one reason. Another reason was what? Weekly 200, this is a weekly bullish divergence. And it's the same exact vicinity that we have this another technical data that's supporting bullish idea here. And then it's another exact same vicinity that it is supporting the bullish idea. This is a Fibonacci retracement zone, 50% retracement, measuring this move here. If you measure this move, this with a 50% retrace. Isn't that interesting that these technical data is wrapping one another? They're coinciding with another. They're condoning each other. They're all telling us the bullish idea in this vicinity, right? And again, not to mention, and then the progress from that. And that's what happened. And then what happened today. And then we finally broke out that bull pennant. 2 days of pretty strong bullish run there. But I think it all happened. I think buyers start to really get confidence, and after building that pressure here. And once they broke out, once we gapped up and cultivated that island reversal, I think then there's some shakeout here and there on a daily basis, here and here. But I think that the decision was made that Apple wants higher. So I think the biggest question is at this point, then where do we go from here? Right? Where do we go from here? Because obviously we know, I just given you an example, analysis, more of a minor to intermediate term sentiment that this market is not going straight up. This market will shake you out. This market inflict fear. This market will never make it easy for anyone. So I think the biggest question that everybody's asking is, yes, this thing is moving higher. So what can we expect? I don't think this thing is just going straight up. There will be up and downs. There will be resistance to watch. And that's what I want to accomplish in this video. So next level of resistance is that gap fill area. This is a gap. Do you see that? That's a gap area. So once this thing fills gap, I believe there will be some resistance happening in that vicinity. A lot of times when gap gets filled, it can become, usually it becomes an instant resistance or instant support. For example, this was a gap area. Do you see this? That's the gap area right here. This gap was open. We came down, we got up, and once that gap was filled, it became that instant resistance. And when the price action was not able to get above that level, this thing tanked. And obviously the pressure was much more bearish in this vicinity, so that when this thing came down, it came down hard. And I think obviously with this resistance, I don't know we're gonna see move like this where this thing will go all the way down. I don't think so, because I think the pressure, we talked about the pressure, the bullish pressure, that island reversal we talked about, the bull pennant we broke out. We also talked about the weekly 200 SMA. We also talked about the 50% retracement, weekly bullish divergence. Underneath it, there's a lot of bullish signals here. And so because of that, and here we didn't. Here we didn't have that much bullish pressure, bullish signals. Here we had a lot of, I think, more bearish sentiment, and also for the fact that the overall market was very, very shaky. Now that the S&P 500 Dow Jones making all-time high, semiconductor through the roof, Nasdaq Composite making all-time high, New York Stock Exchange is just right there. So I mean, with these data, with the more and more buyers are looking optimistic in the overall market, I think when this thing gets up, fill this gap, I don't think it's gonna come down like it did here. I mean, I just use this example how it can act as resistance, but the sentiment is completely different here and here. Okay, again, because for the fact that we have a much more positive, bullish technical data that we just went over, right? So I think it go over here, maybe we'll fizzle around a little bit. The worst case scenario, maybe it'll come back to hit that 10 and 20 MA here. 10 is blue, 20 that kind of a light bluish, sky blue type of or color moving average there. It'll go up, fill it, come down, maybe hit one of these moving averages, and then get back up here. I think the ultimately 112.21 is the ultimate target that it's gonna get up to. So here's the thing. I mean, I would look at Apple again maybe next week or next couple weeks here. Once the price action gets to that level. What I don't know is this. What I don't know is if this thing starts going higher. What I don't know is if this is actually going to act as resistance. Because sometimes this could just blow right through it, and then you feel this gap right here, and then start pulling back. I do believe there will be another pullback. I don't think this thing is going to go straight up. Though anything can happen in the market, but as far as the probability is concerned, I still think there will be another pullback that's in store. And I would have to watch, see if we're going to see a pullback here, and then come down to 10 and 20 and then do something like this. Or is it going to maybe go right through it, hit this resistance, and then start pulling back. And when it's starting pulling back, the question then will be how much will it pull back? I think 50 MA is a level to watch, and then 20 MA and 10 MA. You see that in this chart here? So obviously right now I have to say the minor term, we're in a bullish sentiment. We have a lot of momentum here. Intermediate term, looking at more of this picture, I'm turning into more of a neutral. I'm shifting. It was bearish below this resistance in the intermediate term perspective, but I think now that we have gotten above that level, I am turning to neutral in the intermediate term. I would say once we break well above 112.21 and start doing something like that, intermediate term sentiment will shift to bullish. Okay, so I just want to let you know that the next level resistance is 110.04, and it will be 112.21. I think there's a little bit of gap right here that never was filled truly. You see that right? There's a slight little tiny gap, about at 113 or so. So 112, 113, 110 is next resistance levels. I do think that Apple will probably can get up there. And then once we get up there, and instead of just kind of trying to figure out how it's going to deal with it, it will be better for us to see what kind of candle it prints when it starts to hit these resistance, how it reacts to that level, and then start analyzing it then. For now, this is one of the reasons why I always say that I emphatically advocate on this, is that work with the tangible data, the data that you can see. Do not work with the data that is not there. Then you're just guessing it, right? Work with the data. All the data that I've worked with here with these data is all there. It's all working with data that is already. I didn't guess anything. Did I guess that there's going to be an island reversal? No. Did I guess that this gap is going to stay open? No. After I saw that gap was open, then there's higher probability. Once I saw that this was break above this resistance, it is breaking out. You know what I'm saying? And also, even with these signals, it's not that I guessed that it's going to come down to weekly 200 SMA. It came down, started fizzling around. And then I realized, hey, it looks a lot like in 2009 and 2013 where it started fizzling around in the vicinity. You see what I'm saying? So when you're doing analysis, so many people, what they do is with technical analysis, they guess. Well, because of this is what's going to happen. Because of this resistance, it's going to hit there, and then we're just going to fall back, and we're going to go to 80s. It's just you can't do that because you don't have that data, right? So with the tangible data that is at hand, the facts are all the data that I have shared with you in this video, right? And now that it is moving higher, next level to watch is these potential resistance. Okay, that's the keyword at potential resistance levels, and see how it deals with these vicinities, and then come up with a likely outcome after it's showing us certain sentiment, its person, its attitude once we get to that resistance level, right? Obviously, if we start coming up here, and then we throw this huge bearish engulfing pattern right on that 112.21. And then we see a follow through, right? Then obviously at that point you have tangible data to conclude that, hey, this resistance is a resistance and there's a good chance that this will continue lower, maybe come back down to the 50 MA, or you can do a Fibonacci retracement zone, and then some of these levels connect the support. And then see if it actually finds a support. So rather than guessing what's going to happen, you react to the data that is giving you, the tangible data, the data that you see, right? So hope that makes sense. Best way to connect with me and be up to date with my analysis and things, go to my blog at twotradersclub.com. That's twotradersclub.com, and then come down here, follow blog, and you just put your email, you just follow it. So every video I do like this one, or every article that I write, you will not miss anything, and you will have that alert or that update on in your inbox, so that you can able to kind of keep up with my analysis and things like that. So have a great night. Sometime this week I'll do a market update video on the market indices and other stocks like Google, Netflix, and Amazon. Maybe do gold and silver and things like this, so watch out for that. And then next week, or maybe week after, I'll do another video on Apple, and give you kind of follow-up video on how the Apple is dealing with some of these vicinities that we've been talking about.